Hey, how are you? I hope you are doing well. Today's video is my September wrap-up. I'm going to be talking about all the books I read in September and the few that I DNF'd. So first I'm going to go through the books that I actually finished, and then I will get to the few that I DNF'd. First up is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I did talk about this book in a previous video. The story is a group of children. They're children of this very famous singer from the 50s, and the book takes place the majority of the story takes place in the 80s when the children are grown, and it's about them basically navigating life, having this very famous father who is unfortunately not a very good father to them. The book takes place in California, and what I really enjoyed about it was that California was actually like an extra character in the story. I really liked this book. I liked all the characters. It was a quick read, and I'm definitely going to be checking out more by this author. Next up is I Found You by Lisa Jewell. It's about a woman in England who finds a man sitting on a beach near her home. And when she talks to him, she finds that he can't remember anything. And the story unfolds. I think the pace was really great. I really liked the characters. The story itself was very unique. I'd never really read anything quite like that before. And the characters were all very lively. They all felt very real. I really like Lisa Jewell. I've pretty much liked everything that I have read by her, so I do have quite a few other books that I plan to read as well by her. Next, I read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. If you don't know, it's a pretty famous book, and it's a man who survived the Holocaust. He survived living in, I believe, 4 different work camps or concentration camps, and his entire family did perish, I believe, in Auschwitz, and it was pretty brutal, but he did go on to have a successful life. He had a successful career as, I want to say, a psychotherapist. It's a book that definitely puts things in perspective. It puts your own problems into perspective, because if this man can survive what he did, you can get through pretty much anything. As long as you have some sort of motivation, some sort of reason for getting up in the morning and actually getting through your day, you can survive anything. That's pretty much the book's message in a nutshell. If you have never read Man's Search for Meaning, I highly recommend it, especially if you are struggling in some way, whether it be with your health or your finances or your relationships, or you are feeling depressed or hopeless. Like I said, this is a book that really does put things into perspective. Next up is Come to the Edge by Christina Haig. This was written by an ex-girlfriend of JFK Jr. They had I believe, 5-year relationship in the 80s going into the early 90s. And it was good. I mean, it wasn't anything like really all that interesting. They had a nice courtship. They had a nice relationship. They stayed friendly after things ended. So there's no drama. So I'm not really sure exactly what the motivation was for her to write this. She's an actress. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything, but the book is very well written, and it was a very enjoyable read, but there was definitely nothing like spectacular in there. Okay, so now the books that I DNF'd. First up is The Wreckage of My Presence by Casey Wilson. So I wouldn't say that I was bored exactly with this book. I did like it. It wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. I got like a couple chuckles out of it, but there were other books that I wanted to get to, and it just wasn't holding my attention enough. However, I do plan to go back to it. I got about halfway through it, so I'm pretty sure that I can make it through to the end. I'm gonna give it another shot, but I have a lot of other books that I want to read before going back to it. But it is entertaining. Next up is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I'm not quite sure what motivated me to pick this book up. It's definitely not my genre of choice. I have absolutely no interest in superhero anything. I don't watch the movies. I don't read the comic books. I have absolutely no interest in it. And I was incredibly bored by this book. I was having trouble even understanding what was going on. I had to go back and like reread what the plot was. I don't know if any of you have read it and think that it's worth me giving it another shot, I will, but I just lost interest pretty quickly. And the last book that I DNF'd is Ghost Story by Peter Straub. So here's the thing with Peter Straub's books. Throughout my life, I mean, like, we're going back like literally decades, I have tried to read his books. There was a book that he wrote, I can't remember the name, I'll put it up here, with Stephen King that I wanted to read so badly, and I was so bored and I was so lost, and I tried reading that goddamn book I don't even know how many times. Same with what was the book? Coco? I was so bored, I didn't know what was going on, and I put it down, and then I picked it up months later, and I put it down again, and I just repeated this. I don't know what it is about his writing. It's like I want to like it, and I want to read it, and I want to get into it, and I just can't. I don't know. I really want to go back to this book and give it another try, but I'm just like, is it even worth it? Has anybody read Ghost Story? Please let me know. So that is it. Those are all the books that I read or attempted to read in September. I will do another video like this either at the end of this month or in the beginning of November. I am still in the middle of Goblin by Josh Malerman, which I am thoroughly enjoying, and I'm also still trying to get through more of Shadow and Bone. I will keep you guys updated and let you know what my progress is. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Let me know in the comments what you've been reading. Please subscribe, and I will be back with you very soon.